Welcome back. Western Cape Premier Alan Winde has requested that the provincial Police Ombud probe alleged links between the police and gangs in the region. A High Court judgment earlier this month revealed that there was evidence that gang members have infiltrated the top management structures of the SAPS in the Western Cape. The judgment also stated that these gang members have been able to access important documents and strategies regarding crime fighting. Let's unpack this further with Western Cape Community Safety MEC Reagen Allen. Mr. Allen, thank you so much for your time this evening. Alarmingly, the infiltration of the SAPS management stretches even to the extent that they have access to reports by the anti-gang unit themselves. It's believed that senior SAPS officers are protecting gang members, helping them to evade arrest. And yet it's the Western Cape government calling for action, not the police themselves.
Anli, thank you so much that we are able to have this particular discussion. I am deeply horrified by the judge's words. It's a bold verdict, Anli. It's a bold verdict because now the judge has confirmed that there is evidence that strongly link that certain SAPS members at a lower rank together with SAPS members at a management level in the Western Cape has been captured, which speaks directly to unethical behavior. It speaks directly to a notion that should never happen in any safety structure, in every South African police service member that needs to uphold their oath ultimately. So yes, we have called for the Western Cape Police Ombudsman to probe and to investigate whether we are able to call for a full commission of inquiry in this regard. We can never allow that any person in a uniform, if he or she is not obeying the oath that they have taken, and it's a serious indictment on the South African Police Service. I've also only on yesterday morning directly face-to-face met with the executive director for IPID. One of IPID's mandates is to probe and investigate corruption within the South African Police Service as well. And we are hoping for a speedy response. We are hoping that we are able to then finalize this matter with regard to the investigation by the Police Ombudsman in the Western Cape within 14 days so that we can ultimately handle this matter head on.
Reagen, so approaching IPID is one thing, and they've indicated that they're going to do investigations where those investigations are warranted. So why not just leave it at that? Why approach the Police Ombud?
The Western Cape government is innovative, Anli. We have put resources aside in the lead offices. We have a Western Cape safety plan because SAPS is already chronically under-resourced. We've always been ahead of the curve considering that we are taking responsibility. We are wanting to do everything in our power in order to make policing work in our province. And part of our Community Safety Act is the establishment of the office of the Western Cape Police Ombudsman. Only it's the only province that has a police ombudsman that is dedicated to look into inefficiencies within the South African Police Service. We have a former General Reddy from the South African Police Service, decorated SAPS officer that is now heading up the office of the police ombudsman. So we want to make sure that that investigation and his feedback and the content that he will provide back could lead to a full-scale commission of inquiry. Furthermore, IPID has a role to play.
Are you worried?
I lost you.
Sorry, I do apologize there. I was going to jump in, but I wanted to let you finish your thought. Are you also possibly worried that IPID's investigation reports will land on the desk of Police Minister Bheki Cele, where any further action may be influenced in this matter?
Deeply worried about it because I've already requested from IPID as well for a breakdown for the last 5 years, where they are able to provide me with information with recommendations that were submitted to the National Minister of Police and where no action has been taken. We need to send a strong message, Anli, a strong message that it will not be tolerated, that any person that is in the South African Police Service that is colluding with gang members actually deserve an orange overall and should ultimately be behind bars. We need our officers that are working to safeguard and to protect our communities. We need to protect them as well, because we have some good officers. We have good officers that are dedicated, and there's a few that is crippling our communities. They are breaking the fabric of our communities and the trust between citizens and the police as well.
Reagen, the judgment by Judge Tulare also said that members of the 28th gang and the mobsters are also threatening prosecutors. They're interfering with the independence of judicial officials. Are there fears that members of the judiciary may also be captured, or is this purely a case of intimidation and people who are literally scared for their lives and fearful for the lives of their families?
Andy, I wouldn't want to preempt the investigation by the police ombudsman. However, I am very certain that it will potentially lead to a full-scale commission of inquiry, where we would be able to then finalize the terms of reference in that regard to ensure that this matter is opened up entirely so that we can get to the bottom of it, root it out, and make sure that the police service becomes an entity that communities are able to trust, that people that are faced with safety concerns on a daily basis are able to trust. So we are looking forward to that speedy reply from the police ombudsman in this regard, so that we are able to then move forward in this matter.
Now, our reporter, Aisha Ismail in Cape Town, has been speaking to communities affected, and they've said, but hang on, they've been saying this for years. Nobody has listened to them. They've been trying to get some attention. Hopefully, this kind of a high-level judgment from a judge in the court would then get that kind of attention. But we also know that when Detective Charles Kinnear was assassinated in September 2020, there were reports that he had been investigating corrupt colleagues. With this judgment being pronounced and hopefully further investigations, do you think we're any closer to getting justice for Detective Charles Kinnear?
This is a step in the right direction. It's definitely a step in the right direction, because the sentiment that you have now expressed, the sentiment that many community members have expressed, I've heard that all too often. And it's sad, because when we consider that a member of the public is wanting to provide information to the South African Police Service on criminal activities, etc., then community members will feel they do not know who to trust, because the sense that so many of our members are sadly corrupt. This will open up that particular avenue to investigate, to ensure that we hold them accountable, and that we do everything in our power, only to make sure that anyone that is caught, that they will be prosecuted, and it will send a strong message to any potential would-be criminal, but also would-be officer that wants to be unlawful in any way, will be held accountable. We have heard this, that it's not only over the last couple of years, it's been within our society even prior to 1994. So we need to make sure that this particular matter is handled speedily, so that we can actually get the terms of reference where we are able to hold SAPS accountable, work to strengthen the hand of SAPS members that are actually working to safeguard our communities. So it's not only in the broader sense of making sure that the trust is rebuilt, but also for the dedicated officers, some that have lost their lives, but also some that are still deeply dedicated to upholding their oath. And we need to make everything possible so that these SAPS members that are implicated are prosecuted.
Thank you very much for your time and for speaking to us. That was Western Cape Community Safety MEC Reagen Allen talking to us about a very important judgment read out by a Western Cape judge saying that SAPS members are colluding with gang members in the Western Cape.